right now on CBS4 News.
And now at 9, the family of a great-grandmother who was gunned down outside her home demanding justice as police search for her killer.
And a country in mourning as England and the world prepares to say their final farewell following the death of Queen Elizabeth II.
Some fans not too happy to find their vehicles scorched in the parking lot of Hard Rock Stadium.
And a live look outside on this Monday morning. Nice and dry start to the day, but spotty showers could be coming our way.
This is CBS4 News This Morning.
Good morning, South Florida. Again, it is 9 a.m. Monday, September 12th. I'm Maribel Rodriguez.
And I'm Nicole Lauren. It was another summer scorcher this weekend, and that heat is sticking around. Next weather meteorologist Gonzalez joins us now.
Yeah. That's right. And not only are we dealing with the heat, the humidity today, add to that some storms, which we welcome the rain because it will bring us a little relief. We just could do without the lightning, right? But as of right now, it's actually a quiet start to your Monday morning, which is always nice as you're headed to work and taking the kids to school. Right now, our next radar network is dry, and we should stay dry the next few hours. Though, as we head into the afternoon around 3 p.m., you'll notice from our forecast models that there will be some storms developing that could produce some downpours, especially over the western suburbs, that then could spread eastward as we head into 4, 5, 6 p.m. The storms become more scattered, and then it's quiet as we head into later tonight. But wow, it already feels like the 90s out there. In Miami, feels like 94, feels like 95 in Fort Lauderdale right now. Might be 86 in Key West, but it feels like 98, and our highs will climb to the low 90s today. However, when you factor in the humidity, it will feel like the triple digits this afternoon. The rain chance is increasing the next few days, and I'll break down why we're going to see more wet weather ahead. But let's get to a check of your commute with Austin. Good morning.
Hey, Lisette, good morning. All right, another warm day ahead. We're taking a live look here. This is 79th Street and I-95 here this morning. Things, unfortunately, are rolling just a bit slow here as you are making your way into downtown Miami, though. Let's take a look at where we're talking about. If you are making your way into downtown Miami this morning, about 34 minutes it'll take you from the Golden Glades interchange down to Miami Avenue into downtown Miami. So definitely expect a little bit longer of a drive as you're making your way south here this morning. Broward County, though, a different story. Things are rolling really well, and we are crash free.
Well, right now at 9 o'clock, the family of an 85-year-old great-grandmother is demanding justice after she was shot and killed outside of her home. Police is still searching for the person who pulled the trigger. CBS4's Deborah Souverine is at Miami-Dade headquarters with the family's emotional plea.
This family is devastated after their great-grandmother was killed in that drive-by shooting. She was 85 years old. She goes by Grandma Liz, and she was sitting in front of her home when all of this happened, a home that police say she's lived in for more than 50 years. And today, detectives are working on tracking down whoever took her life. Now, this happened Friday night after a series of gunshots rang out. And according to detectives, the drive-by shooting happened around 6:30. Near Northwest 10th Avenue and 52nd Street. That is where they found Elizabeth Level suffering from a gunshot wound to the head. She later died at the hospital, and as you can imagine, her family is heartbroken.
To think that our great-grandma will be murdered with a gunshot wound to the head, sitting out as a family, and people come through shooting, and my grandma couldn't run. She's in her wheelchair.
I was here. I came outside and I saw my grandmother leaning and blood coming from her head. She got shot in the head.
And there is a $5,000 reward for any information that leads to an arrest. All you have to do is reach out to Miami-Dade Crime Stoppers, and keep in mind, you can remain anonymous. Reporting in Miami, I'm Deborah Souverine, CBS4 News.
Police in Miami Gardens are investigating a shooting. It happened overnight in the 3200 block of Northwest 196th Lane. Police say when officers arrived, they found the victim had been shot and killed. No other details have been released at this time. And now to the sentencing trial of the Parkland shooter. The trial is expected to resume this morning after a week break. We're expecting to hear more about the shooter's troubled home life and his struggles growing up. The jury heard from a case manager at Henderson Behavioral Health when court was last in session. Tiffany Forrest said she witnessed outbursts and that the home had little furniture with a broken door and holes in the wall. She told the jury the shooter was bullied at school and by his brother, Zachary Cruz. The defense will be wrapping up its case in the coming days.
Well, Britain's long goodbye to Queen Elizabeth is now officially underway. King Charles III and his Queen consort Camilla arrived at Westminster Hall earlier today, where condolences were expressed following the death of Her Majesty.
And here's a live look now from Edinburgh. The death of Queen Elizabeth has sent into motion an intricate period of mourning, which will culminate with a state funeral 1 week from today. Again, these are live pictures out of Edinburgh, where in just about 25 minutes, Queen Elizabeth's coffin will be taken from the palace to St. Giles Cathedral, where a celebration of life will be taking place.
Yeah, and Maribel, the king earlier made his first address to Parliament in London, where he referred to Shakespeare and saying that the Queen was a, quote, pattern to all princes living. It's so heartbreaking to hear everything, so many family members had to say, seeing the presence that's coming out there. So many people, not just there in the nation,
it's incredible,
across the world, so impacted by her passing.
The thousands and thousands of people lining the procession, which we will be seeing the king and members of the royal family following the Queen's coffin in a procession along the mile to St. Giles Cathedral, where again there will be a celebration of life for Queen Elizabeth. And officials in Scotland and England are bracing for a massive and possibly unprecedented turnout when the public viewings for Queen Elizabeth II get underway this evening.
As CBS4's Ian Lee reports, they're warning the wait could take hours, perhaps even longer.
Britain's long goodbye to Queen Elizabeth is now officially underway. On Sunday, a hearse carried the Queen's coffin from the Scottish country home where she died to Edinburgh, Scotland's capital. The 6-hour journey was marked by huge crowds that lined the roads for a glimpse of the hearse.
The mood was somber but respectful, but spontaneous applause began just as the cortege had left.
Today, the Queen's body will be transported to St. Giles Cathedral along Edinburgh's Royal Mile. Elizabeth's son, the new King Charles III, will lead the procession, which will conclude with a private service. Afterwards, members of the public will be able to come pay their respects in person. Queen Elizabeth is expected to lie at rest in Scotland for about 24 hours. Her coffin will then be flown to London for an extended public viewing. Charles began his day with his first address to Parliament as king, vowing to continue his mother's dedication to the nation.
She set an example of selfless duty, which, with God's help and your counsels, I am resolved faithfully to follow.
The death of the UK's longest reigning monarch has prompted an outpouring of grief across the country. For most of her subjects, the 96-year-old was the only monarch they had ever known.
She'll be sorely missed, not only by her family, but I think everyone that she's come into in their lives.
There's been a lot of concern and speculation online over what will happen to the Queen's corgis. They're reportedly going to remain together and in the care of her family. The BBC says the dogs will be jointly adopted by her son Prince Andrew and his ex-wife, CBS News.
Anti-restrictions have reportedly been in place on VIPs attending the Queen's funeral. Politico is reporting only foreign heads of state and their partners have been invited, and helicopters have been banned. And now to Fins on 4 for the third straight year. The Dolphins open up their season against the New England Patriots.
Yeah, that's right. It was all Fins and a first win for rookie head coach Mike McDaniels. Quarterback Tua Tagovailoa passed for 270 yards. Second-year receiver Jalen Waddles scored the Dolphins' first offensive touchdown of the season, taking a fourth-down pass from Tua into the end zone for a 42-yard score. The Fins beat the Patriots 20-7.
And okay, can you imagine going to the Fins game, coming out super happy because they won, Back to your car to see it up in flames or charred. Several vehicles were destroyed after a fire broke out at a parking lot just outside Hard Rock Stadium. New cell phone video shows the vehicles up in flames. This happened just after 1 o'clock during the first half of the season opener. 10 Miami-Dade fire crews responded to the scene and quickly put out the flames before they can keep spreading. The cars were later towed away. No one was hurt. Investigators are looking into what caused the fire.
I can't imagine. All right, time right now is 9:10, and coming next, 21 years after the 9/11 attacks, families of the victims are honoring them and working to keep their memories alive. A look at the touching tributes across the country and South Florida.
And in just a few minutes, the new season of the Drew Barrymore Show premieres. Coming up, we go one-on-one with Drew and find out what's in store for season 3.
Well, it's been 21 years since the September 11th attacks, when hijacked planes crashed into the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and a field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania.
Mourners gathered at the scenes of those tragedies, marking the deadliest terror attack on U.S. soil. CBS4's Bradley Blackburn reports from Lower Manhattan.
The nation observed the 21st anniversary of the 9/11 attacks with the rituals that have grown familiar in the past 2 decades. Bells tolled in Lower Manhattan, and friends and family, some not yet born that day, read the names of the nearly 3,000 lives lost.
And my fighter Jimmy Riches, Uncle Jimmy, I'm so proud to be named after you. You are my hero. I wish I could have met you because you sound like so much fun when we talk about you.
Andrew Colabella, who lost his cousin in the 1993 Trade Center bombing, had a message for the politicians at the ceremony.
It took a tragedy to unite us. And I want to remind all of you there, it should not take another tragedy to unite our nation.
Today's gatherings have been scaled down compared to last year, when large crowds turned out, especially here at the World Trade Center site, to mark 20 years since the tragedy. Vice President Kamala Harris represented the White House at the event in New York. First Lady Jill Biden took part in the remembrance at the Flight 93 Memorial near Shanksville, Pennsylvania. And President Biden spoke at the Pentagon.
We raise monuments and memorials to the citizens whose blood sacrificed on these grounds and in Shanksville and Ground Zero, to keep touch of the memory, keep it bright for all the decades to come.
From each of the day's ceremonies came the renewed promise to never forget. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
And the death toll has grown significantly over the years as survivors and first responders succumb to 9/11 related illnesses, and those illnesses are believed to have claimed more lives than the 2,977 killed in the initial attack.
And right here in South Florida, hundreds of people reflected on that fateful day and the response that followed.
The city of Pembroke Pines held their Patriot Day ceremony to remember the lives lost and recognize those called to service in response. And in Miami, a memorial at Tropical Park, people recounting where they were and what they felt.
We remember how on that fateful day we saw the worst of humanity. But we must also remember how on the hours and the days to follow, we saw how ordinary men and women living ordinary lives reacted with extraordinary heroism, and how humanity quickly restored itself in the acts of kindness, duty, loyalty, and self-sacrifice.
Miami-Dade Fire Rescue also unveiled a new fire engine with the American flag, the skyline with the Twin Towers, and the names of the 343 firefighters killed in the attack.
Now to the Mar-a-Lago search. The Justice Department says it needs continued access to the documents seized from former President Donald Trump's South Florida home. A deadline has been set for his legal team to respond. According to the DOJ, it's a matter of national security. A judge has paused the DOJ's review of the documents. She says she wants to appoint a special master to filter out potentially privileged information first. But the Justice Department says it needs to see the documents now. Mr. Trump's response to this request is due by 10 a.m.
Always alerting, always tracking. This is Next Weather.
All right, next weather meteorologist Zach Gonzalez is standing by with a look at our forecast and some more chances of rain this afternoon, Lisette?
Yes, absolutely. This morning it's nice and quiet. Enjoy the calm while you can, but you want to grab your umbrella because as we head into the afternoon, we will see storms developing over the inland areas, but then the models are indicating that those showers and storms will likely start to drift eastward, and then the rain chance is even higher as we head into your Tuesday and the rest of the week. It's turning stormier as we'll be just south of a stalled frontal boundary that's not going to make its way here. Instead, the moisture ahead of it is going to lead to daily rounds of heavy afternoon rain. And as we look at our next radar network, the good news is that for now we're in the clear. Even the next few hours looking good, but as we head into 2, 3, 4 p.m., scattered storms will develop, and then as we head into the evening rush, 5, 6, 7 p.m., we will likely see the chance for some downpours before things quiet down late tonight, overnight into tomorrow morning looking quiet. But then another round of storms will be firing up as we head into tomorrow afternoon and possibly through the evening rush, although it looks like some of the heaviest rain will be off to our west. Still want to keep the rain gear close. We are going to stay unsettled here the next few days. Right now it already feels like 94 in Miami, 95 in Fort Lauderdale, 98 in Key West. Highs today soaring to the low 90s. Another sizzling September day for us with feels like temperatures climbing to the triple digits as we head into the afternoon. Hydration is key with this kind of weather. You certainly want to have plenty of water, plenty of fluids. Try to take breaks during the afternoon. If you do have to be working outside, try to stay in the AC when you can. This evening, it'll still feel like the upper 90s at 5 p.m. That's how muggy it is. Now, a great way to beat the heat, head to the beach. A moderate risk of rip currents there. And the winds are mainly out of the south-southeast, 5-10 miles per hour. UV index is extreme. Let's talk tropics because right now there are no areas of concern for South Florida. Two waves, though, that we are monitoring, one of which is nearing the central Atlantic, and this has a low potential of cyclone development over the next 5 days as it moves west-northwest, a 20% chance of development, and a wave emerging off the west coast of Africa that has a low potential of cyclone development over the next 5 days. Over the weekend, we reached the official peak of the Atlantic hurricane season. However, now is the time to not let your guard down. We absolutely have to be on high alert. Over the next few months tend to be the most active of the season. So rain chances increasing the next few days, and then we get into the weekend and we'll see scattered storms. Right now, let's get a check of your commute with Austin. Good morning.
Hey, Lisette, good morning, and we are taking a look on the Julia Tuttle this morning where things are just a bit backed up for folks that are coming from the mainland and then crossing over to Alton Road there. So let's show you where we're talking about and where we're seeing some of those delays here. So moving over on the Julia Tuttle, you'll see it's taking about 15 minutes from 95 over to Alton Road, but take a look at the MacArthur, only taking about 5 minutes. So best bet, just head a little bit farther south if you can. Hop on the MacArthur if you are making your way over to Miami Beach this morning. Broward County, though, is remaining crash-free. A real smooth ride on the Turnpike, 595 and 95. Even US 1 is moving pretty smoothly here as well. If you are on the Turnpike making your way from Miramar, Carroll City, a little bit closer to 75, from Hollywood Boulevard down to 75, taking you close to 20 minutes.
Well, in just a matter of minutes at 9:30, the Drew Barrymore Show has its third season premiere right here on CBS4.
Yeah, and you can expect some new fun segments as well as some favorites like Drew's news from the first 2 seasons. CBS4's Lisa Petrillo went one-on-one with Drew to talk about the show and a whole lot more.
The Drew Barrymore Show is back for its third season, but on this day, the main star herself, like many of us, was having a rough start.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Drew. How are you?
That's how I am. I mean, capable of like fake and BS. It's like if this is the mood I'm in or the mode I'm in when you're like running with your hair on fire, so be it. Like I hate people who are like, oh, hi.
And it's that authentic realness that makes this award-winning actress, businesswoman, TV host, and mom so relatable and so loved. Her show is Optimism TV, the goal to bring information and inspiration to the daytime audience.
I want to be a bright spot, not a blind spot. We're in tough times in the world. I want this to be the antidote without pretending we're not fully aware of everything that's happening. And I love comedy. It is my coping mechanism. Even if it gets real dark, I'm like, let's bring on the laughter.
She has a new true crime segment where the real crime has a happy ending, but it's sitting down for real interviews with those that are famous or not, that has become her new passion.
And I'm trying to do what you do, Lisa. I love journalism. I love news. I love the art of a good conversation. I've certainly been on the other side of an interview chair my whole life. So I'm like, how could we make this different?
Like her upcoming segment with pop star Katy Perry.
When I was going through a divorce and a move from LA to New York and a career change, pile it on, me and my girls would sing Roar. And that was our song to make us feel like we were not lost or displaced. And to get to say thank you to Katy Perry for that, for me, was such a gift.
So for the women out there that are really juggling a lot all the time, what's your go-to? How do you handle that stress?
I have no interest in selling that I've got this under control. It's messy. Life is messy. And so I'm trying to do my best, but it doesn't always look or feel perfect. That is for sure.
Well, congratulations to you. So excited to see you here at 9:30 on CBS4. Always wonderful to see you, Drew.
I love Miami. I love you, Lisa. Thank you again for having me back.
And we love her. Again, don't miss a third season premiere of the Drew Barrymore Show coming up this morning at 9:30 right here on CBS4. I think what I love so much about her, she's so real.
Yeah, and I love her movies.
She keeps it real. I know.
What's your favorite? Hurry.
Oh, the dating one. The one
50 First Dates.
Yeah, 50 First
Dates.
There you go.
All right, time right now is 9:23, and coming up next, why a popular brand of kid earmuffs is being recalled and what you should do if you own a pair.
Yeah, with Adam Sandler.
You got it.
Yeah. And now to a CBS4 consumer alert. More than 31,000 children's sound compression earmuffs are being recalled amid concerns about injuries.
Yeah, that's right. This involves the Hearing Lab Technology children's earmuffs. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission says the batteries included in the earmuffs can rupture, causing hearing damage or even potential burns. The company has received 19 reports of ruptured batteries. Thankfully, no injuries. You can reach out to Hearing Lab for replacement batteries if you have them.
The USDA issuing a public health alert about a potential E. coli contamination for a popular home meal delivery company. The alert includes HelloFresh meal kits with ground beef in them. They're no longer for sale, but the kits might be in HelloFresh customers' freezers. If you have the affected product, throw it away and contact HelloFresh for a refund.
Well, straight ahead in our next half hour of news here on CBS4, weather in Southern California is helping contain a massive wildfire. More on that coming up.